Excel accounting practice problem. Record deposits from owner and from loan. Get ready because we're about to excel. Here we are in our worksheet. In prior presentations, we put together this worksheet from a blank sheet, now continuing to enter data into it. If you have access to this worksheet, you're going to have two tabs down below, example tab and the practice tab. Example tab, in essence, being an answer key. Let's take a look at it now. We're going to be entering transactions which are common to a business that is starting out, that being the increasing of cash due to possibly two things that are happening. One, the owner taking money from the personal account and putting it into the business account. And two, possibly taking a loan out and putting that into the checking account so that we have the cash when the company is starting up to invest in things such as machinery and equipment, such as inventory. So we're going to go back to the second tab over here in the practice tab, and we're going to imagine the owner putting money from their personal investments into the business to invest in the business. So we're going to start off and we're going to say that happens on 1/1. We're going to say the checking account is going to be an increase. Now the other side is not going to go to an income account. That's important to note as well, especially as you go forward with the business, because usually when you have an increase to the checking account, the other side would then go to revenue because we're expecting it to come from a customer in some way, shape, or form. Either it goes through accounts receivable, but ultimately ends up cash from a customer, or directly from the sales to the customer at the point in time we do the work or provide the goods and services, increasing the revenue at that point. But there's two common exceptions to that rule. One being the owner putting money into the business, often happening at the startup of the business or when the business is expanding. And two, when you're getting a loan for the business, often in the same situations. So we got to be careful of that when we think about increases to the checking account, where they're coming from. And so we're going to say the other side could go to equity directly, but we might want to break it out into another account. Note, when money is leaving the company going to the owner, when the owner draws money out, we often make another account called draws instead of putting it directly to equity. We could do the same thing for investments, which sometimes is not necessary because there's not as many investments as there are draws. Draws would be a more common thing we would expect to happen as the business grows and goes forward. We could just put them into equity, but when we just put them into equity, then we got to do a little bit more work at the end of the year when we're trying to reconcile the prior year books to the current year books. So sometimes we might want to break it out. I'm going to break it out here as well with the owner investments. So I'm going to make another account called owner investments. I'm going to add a line below the equity. To do that, we're going to select the line below the equity. I'm going to right click on it and insert, and then I'm going to shift those cells down, shift them down, and then OK. And so now it looks kind of like the cell above it, but we're missing some of the formatting. So I'm going to highlight the cell above it because I want that same formatting down on the one below. And then go to the home page clipboard and paintbrush it. And then we're just going to click on that one below it and paintbrush it so we got that border and everything, the fancy borders too. And then we're going to add I'm going to call this owner investment. So that's going to be the investment, meaning the owner putting money into the company instead of draws, which we'll see later, the owner taking money out. That's going to be 0 to start with. I'm going to copy the formula down, or I'll just type it in again, equals the SUM of these two cells. And then you want to double check your totals down below. Does it pick up that last cell? It does not. So I want to make sure that we're picking up that last cell when we total it up. And then I'm going to drag it across with the autofill, dragging it across this way so my totals are totaling up the entire column. The total's got the total column in it. The total column's totaled by the total formula with the sum. So 65,000 debit, and the credit, the other side going now to the account that we have now set up, the owner investment, an equity type of account. We're going to then go to the home tab, alignment, and indent. And let's go ahead and post this out. So we got our checking account up top. First off, we're going to be in cell M4 where we will say equals, pointing to that 65,000, taking us from the beginning balance now at the 25,000 up by the 65,000 to, notice this ending cell, I didn't finish the last job. that we did last time because these should be summing up. So the sum is incorrect because I cut and paste. So I'll try to do this by deleting these. I'm going to delete this whole thing. And I'm going to say this needs to be updated equals the SUM of these two cells. Now I want to copy it down without messing up the formatting down below in terms of the colors. So I'm going to right click and copy, and then I'm going to paste it in a special way. Pasting right click, just a special paste with the functions only, the formulas only, I should say, because that's the right thing to say. It's the proper thing to say. I said it wrong last time. I want to say it the right way. So then we have the owner investment is going to be down here. Scrolling down to the owner investment, it's in cell M13 equals, picking up that 65,000. So now we're going from 0 up by 65,000 to 65,000. We're going to record this in our general ledger now. The cash will be easy. The owner investment not so easy because I don't have that thing in my owner investment, and we'll have to add another account for that. So we'll run into that problem. But let's first post the checking account up top. That's going to be at 11. We're in cell Q5 equals that 65,000 right there. Then I need to make this new GL account here to post out there. So I'm going to go all the way to the end where we got my blue accounts. My blue accounts out here, and we'll just make one. So I need like another set of accounts between these two. So what I'm going to, because I want to have one after equity. So I'm going to put my cursor on the skinny column here on the skinny, put it on the skinny, and then we're going to drag on over to AH, Control C, right click, and then we're going to go on that skinny, on the skinny column. It's hard because it's skinny, but we're going to right click on it anyways, and then paste it, insert, not paste, but insert the copied cells. There we have it. So that looks good. So then this top one, I'm just gonna replace it. So I'm gonna take this one below it, and I'm just gonna cut it, Control X, and I'll just put it on top of this one on top. So there we have that. I'm gonna delete the beginning balance because that's not the proper beginning balance. It started at 0. And then I'm gonna say here in cell AJ2, I'm gonna pick up the name by saying equals and pull over the name from the trial balance, which is gonna be owner investment. So there we have that, and then we can post it to it, 1-1. So now I'm in cell AK5 equals left to the wall, picking up that owner investment. That looks good, but it's not being picked up in the general ledger totals over here either. So it's not being picked up in that total in my check figure. So I'm going to double click on it, go to the end of it and say plus, and pick up that last one, which should put us back in the balance. Make sure you do the one at the bottom. I want to pick it up down here so it'll adjust automatically. So there we have it. That looks good. We also have this gap over here in my GL, or this space down below, but that's okay. That actually works perfect because it's at the end anyway. So that's not a problem. That's not a problem. I was thinking it's a problem, but it's not. So now we got 90,000, and now we're going to say we'll take out a loan at the same time because we need to buy a lot of equipment and inventory. We're going to do a guitar shop, so we need like the office to be looking good and the selling store and like furniture, and we need then the guitars, the inventory. So in any case, we're going to then say the checking account's going to go up again because we're going to take out a loan, and then the other side this time is going to go to loan payable, not to income again because it's a checking account's going up, but it's not income because we have to pay it back plus interest, the rent on it, to the bank most likely as we took the loan out. So we're going to alignment and indent. And then this one, we're saying 50,000. We took out a $50,000 loan. There's the debit. There's the credit. So let's post that out. We're going to go on over to the checking account. Something's in it. I'm going to go into it fancy like with the keyboard, F2 plus F2. And then scroll on over to that 50,000, never having touched the mouse and recording it like so. And then the loan payable is going to be down below. We're in cell M11 equals, scrolling over to that 50,000. The loan is going up from 22,000 up in the credit direction by 50,000 to 72,000. Let's post this out now, the checking account. Checking account's going to be right over here. We're in this, is this 1-1 again? Yeah, 1-1, I guess. These aren't the beginning balances. This is part of the current time frame. So this is going to be equal to, we're going to pick up then that 50,000 for the 140,000, and then I'm going to go to the loan payable. So it went from 90 plus 50 to the 140 because the debit to the debit amount account made it go up. That's also tied out here to the 140 on the trial balance. We're out of balance on the general ledger until we record the loan payable, which is the last liability account in the trial balance, and that it's going to be the same in the general ledger because that's how it works. So accounts, assets, liabilities, over here we're in AF511. We're in AJ5 equals left to the wall, picking up that 50,000. So we had the 22,000 before. It's going up by 50,000 because we're doing the same thing to it, crediting a credit balance account, bringing it to 72,000. So that's 72,000 then also matching what's on the trustee trial balance. We're back in balance with the items up top on the general ledger with our check figures. Check figures check out, roger that. 1040, 1040, 1040. That's the tax return. So everything looks pretty good here, and we'll move forward with more data input next time.